Growing up, I always just wanted to be a mom. I couldn't wait to get married someday, and I had a picture of, well, I wanted 10 kids. And that was my desire, my heart's desire.
I wasn't quite at 10 kids. My picture was probably more just along the lines of my family. And fitting that picture perfect description that I think we all want. Well, I just finished up school. We had been married for almost a year, and we decided to start trying. A few months go by, then 6 months go by, and then a year goes by, and then we realized that maybe we should see what's going on.
So that began a long journey in several years, 5 to be exact, of just dealing with infertility and God growing us and teaching us through His plan for our family that it wasn't going to start right away like everybody else's did. So growing up, I had always thought that adoption would be a really neat thing, but I think it took the Lord closing my womb to really open my heart to the idea of adoption. You know, we started talking about it and praying about it, and God started really working in our hearts and opening the doors for us to move in that direction.
She came home and said, I think we need to get licensed for adoption and at least go to these classes. So I'm like, okay, we can do that. I'll at least go to the classes. And our original plan was we would go to overseas, and we decided on going to Ukraine. It seemed like there was a lot of need there. With the waiting periods and everything, it seemed like a great situation for us, and so that's what we originally decided on, was to go overseas, go to Ukraine, and adopt from there. And
the need was so great. It would be 2 or 3 weeks, we'd be gone, and then we'd be back with our baby. But when we got there, they had a lot of issues with the program for adoption in Ukraine, and after being there for 7 really, really, really long weeks, God sent us home without a baby.
I think it's one of those things where you have to set aside the picture that you'd built up in your mind of what you thought was going to happen, or how you thought things were going to be and what things would look like, and reinserting the blank canvas for God to put the picture on there for you, what it was going to look like.
And finding contentment in that.
Yeah.
And joy in that, and knowing that all we needed really was Him. It didn't take being a parent, it didn't take being a mom. It was just Him.
When we got back from Ukraine, one of the caseworkers that we knew, she then told us, I've got a little boy who really needs a good family. It was weeks after we had gotten home, and within days, they had put our name into the red file, and we were chosen.
So just 15 minutes down the road was our oldest child, and within days we were able to meet him, and just within weeks he was home. So 2 years after we brought Wes home, thought we would try biologically to have children, and God gave us our twins. They were born prematurely, and shortly after they were born, we were made aware that one of our little ones had Down syndrome.
Through having Wyatt, who has Down syndrome, God really opened our eyes and our hearts to a different aspect of raising kids and
the privilege of having a child with special needs. Like, it just was such a blessing. It was a blessing we did not expect. We were fearful and scared, and God just really opened our eyes to the beauty of the individual that He created, and a whole community of people that didn't look like everyone else.
Through opening our eyes through Wyatt to special needs, He then opened our hearts to Trinity.
She was undiagnosed at the time, so we again had our plan of we were willing to accept certain conditions, but we weren't willing to accept others.
And God just kind of told us, no, you're not going to know those things.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you those things.
Really?
You got to make a decision based on faith.
So after wrestling with that decision, He just brought us to complete peace and joy in that, and we took her home just a few months later.
For me, this whole process has been one of God making Himself visible, really showing Himself to us. I mean, I've always known He's there, but it's something altogether different to actually experience His presence. And for me, it was the invisible hand of God made visible through the whole process. It's almost as if you could physically see Him there, moving, working, and in even the parts that weren't the happiest parts, he was there moving and working. And coming to that comprehension is life-changing, because you really understand who God is in those moments.
I'm just thankful that God's plan was different than ours. I'm thankful that that picture that we had originally in our minds of what our family needed to be is completely different than what God had in mind.